There was a time in my life where everything was going fine. I had the husband, the house, the kids, the car, all the stuff. And there was something missing. I didn't know it was missing at first, but I had this creeping suspicion. And then when it became clear, well, then it was clear. Then what was I going to do with the information that I received? Because it turned out what was missing was a pretty big deal. At that time in my life, I was being called to something I didn't actually even know, but to be more authentic, to be more in alignment with myself, to live more truthfully. And what that asked of me, what it required of me, was testing almost all of those things I had acquired and gained to see if they really fed my soul. And it turned out that most of them didn't. It was a really difficult time. During that time, I got divorced, I moved, I changed to having my kids all the time with me, to having them half time. I started a business. There was a lot of things that were changing and moving. And these were things that I chose. Things I never ever thought that I would choose for my life. Those times were so difficult that there were nights I wanted to just give up. There were days when I missed my kids so bad it felt like my chest was caving in on itself. And the way that I got through that time was to deeply rely on spiritual practice. Every moment of fear, every moment of pain, every moment of just breathing so that I could get to the next moment where I could breathe again, and to that next moment, those all were supported by, they were threaded through with spiritual practice. So I'm missing my kids. I went on a walk and I just felt what was going on in my body and let it release. When I was terrified about if I'd make rent at the end of the month, I could return myself to the present moment and check in. Is everything okay right now? It is. And, I would not have put myself through all of that craziness, all of my whole life disintegrating and falling apart, if there wasn't something in the center, some truth I knew deep down inside of me that I kept touching, and I kept touching, and I kept touching again and again. And spiritual practice would bring me back to that place of truth, that place of faith, the place of trust in life, because I had just wrecked basically the whole thing I thought that I had wanted, that turned out was hollow in the center. That time, I had a herniated disc in my back that I was dealing with. I was dealing with financial ups and downs. I was dealing with grief and loss. I was dealing with even a brand new relationship that happened and was blossoming. All of this. And it was so terrifying, so terrifying. I had kind of a mantra, a song that I listened to again and again and again and again. And the name of it is "Do You Really Want to Know" by Peter Mayer. Part of that song, the lyrics say, "That wind will raise the roof sometimes and leave you blinking at the sky." And the whole refrain is, if you really look, you're going to see something you can't unsee. Do you really want to? Do you really want to know? And I would sit through my tears listening to the song again and again, and I'd say, yes, I do. Because where I come from had been too painful. And where I was going, I didn't know at all. But I knew that it had to be more and better, because I was with myself in a new way that I had never, ever been before. This is some of the power of spiritual practice, to bring you back from the brink, to breathe your way through fear, to open up to something that's still in bud, in possibility, something you can't even imagine yet. That time for me when my whole life collapsed was several years ago now. And what happened as I emerged to a more stable place, as I threaded through and practiced, was that my business flourished. miracles happened. I met amazing people, and not that it was all roses after that time. It's not. But the deep faith that I've acquired through this sense of life as practice, through like hanging on to my authenticity, hanging on to that little nudge, hanging on to what feels right and true and pleasurable and joyful, that is a life I want to live. That is what I want to know in my bones, in my body. I almost don't care anymore what else I lose or have to let go of or surrender to, because this life is so intoxicating, because being fully alive feels amazing, because now hardly anything scares my pants off the way that it used to. I'm telling you this story today about how important spiritual practice has been to me because I have an offering for you, an invitation. I'm starting a 6-month group. It's starting soon here in another couple of days. And I would invite you to join me. What we'll do is set intention. We'll hold some inquiries. What is it that you're hanging on to, that thread, that little authentic piece, that inner truth that you're trying to know and live into? What is that? What does it want from you? What is the next step to make that life real? To co-create with the universe whatever is possible that may even be beyond your imagining. Come find out. We'll hold those intentions. We'll surrender into practice. And always, always, that thread will emerge. We will come back home to the truth of ourselves. We'll get that next breadcrumb. We'll get the context, whatever it is that we need in that moment to breathe through to that next breath until our breath is taken away, because it's so amazing what just happened. The group will happen for about 6 months, and in the end of each group session, we'll be able to process with one another those little nuggets that we've received. We'll be able to provide support for one another for where we're going in case our roof gets blown off and we sit there just blinking. I invite you to come check it out. There's a link to find me, to schedule a short call with me to see if this group and all its details are a good fit for you. Especially if you're feeling disrupted in these times of pandemic and job loss and relationship loss and all the things that my clients are coming to me with now. Especially if you're in one of those places of big transformation, this group can be the place where you find that thread, where you connect back to your truth, where you come home to yourself. And when that happens, the whole world is possible. Thanks for hanging with me today, and schedule that appointment, just a few minutes, to call and connect and to see if this next opportunity to do this kind of spiritual practice, to get your grounding, to come home to yourself, is for you at this time. Thank you. Blessings on your day.